my computer.
Mhm.
I'm going to share my screen a little bit. Let's see. I don't know what I wrote you. There it is. And okay. Oop, oh, that's the whole thing, isn't it? Just a second. There it is. All right. Well, I've noted here some things that I've seen in my many, many years of judging films and looking at films made for young audiences. And for this American audience, I'm going to ask, why do you think not many American films show outside of the United States or get selected, very specifically get selected to show at the Berlin Film Festival's children's section, which is, 46-year-old children's section, which I have been attending since 1993 with 5 years where I decided I wasn't going to do this. It wasn't a good career path for me. It didn't make sense. So I stopped doing it for 5 years. But then I went back and saw it wasn't changing. It wasn't changing. And quite frankly, there was also competition. There's a woman who always came after me and she took the jobs and she got the money, but I loosened the lid. So I went back and I was always loosening the lid for her. So I also felt that was my job as sort of the pioneer to go through and to start things. And now I'm really making it my job. But yeah, American films weren't showing up there. Like, I mean, there's a tradition of Polish films and especially live action films. I'm going to say from this. Here she is, daughter Kidzałowska. Do you know her work? Krave.
Dorota Kędzierzawska, yes.
Kędzierzawska, okay, yes.
Kędzierzawska, yes.
And she specializes in work for young audiences. And I watch her. She went to no, actually, she did not go to the Łódź school. She lives in Łódź, but she studied in Russia. And Russia had this a tradition of films for young audiences. I mean, what we see when looking in each culture, in each nation, really, there is an approach for media for young audiences. And what we are doing now, scholars in this area are looking at the exchange, but it's not coming in so much. It's not coming in so much. And what is also changing, helping that change, is that more young people are engaged in film programs at school, at the high school level. And do you not have a film program or a media program at the high school level?
No, we don't have. They do the films, they make the films as part of CAS projects. Yes,
as part of a class project, you're saying?
No, CAS, because every IB student, except the subjects they choose, they have CAS, creativity, activity, and service. So I have a group of students who, as creativity and activity, they took just filming, making films, short films.
Okay.
So we don't have the filming section or whatever. So it is just really something extra and completely, totally new for us, yes?
Okay.
But the students made a short film, some short films, yes? And they are just, when I mentioned to them, they said, yes, we will try, yes, to do.
How many?
I think that 4 or 5, not more.
I think that's very good. That's very good. So maybe in that we can, there could be a team of 2 who might be more interested in documentary and another team that is more interested in a narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me again what CASS means in service.
Creativity, activity, service.
Ah. Okay, good. Okay, 1S. Okay.
So this is part of the whole IB project, yes?
That's great. Yeah, and they just had their examinations, as you said.
Yes. So there's, because we are new with IB. We have only, so the students from last year, they are just taking the exams, IB exams, and definitely they won't be involved in this because they still have the exams this week and next week. But the students are the first year students, so they can spend some time on making films. They seem to be very interested in this.
That's excellent. That's I'm excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as far as equipment, we have iPhones. Some might have their own cameras, actual video cameras.
Maybe iPhones. One student has a video camera, but it's quite old, not very good quality. But I think that they have good smartphones and iPhones, so mainly this will be the tool which they are going to work.
The old video camera, if it's still producing, if they can still actually get the media out, because this is also the problem, could offer some good insight as a texture, for instance. Because I mean, depending on what year it's from, there's also something in history around that could profoundly help tell a story. And so that could be useful. So that's not
Yes, so I think they can use it. Yes, so I have a meeting with my students tomorrow. Yes, because till today they had free time. Yes, because of the Matura exams. Yes, so I only emailed them, and tomorrow I'm going to meet my students and discuss the details, and maybe the next meetings will be with students. Yes, so on May and so on. Yes, I think it is important.
Yes, definitely. Let's see. There we go. So I've got this letter up.
Yes, this is the email.
It's the first chapter of our book together, Marzanna. That's what it is.
Yes, exactly. The 10th of May, first chapter.
I like that. 10th of May. Okay. I have a story that I've been building over years. I call it the 35th of May.
Why?
Because there is no 35 on the calendar, so something must happen in the universe that makes that happen.
And I can see that you will be in Poznan.
Yes, really? Yes, and I looked to see how it could be possible that in 2 days I could go to Poznan and come to Suwalki. But there's a flight into Riga and then an 8-hour bus ride. It's unfortunately hard to get to you.
Yes.
It's probably better by car. But that's not to say that in the near future, I will get there. Because you also need to understand that there is, in Poznan, I'm meeting a financer someone who was interested in supporting Screen 360 TV with a $250,000, but we had to match it. We had to come up with a match for the money, and it had to be used in Poland. So, and it has always been an intention to have a hub in Poland. So right now, if the National Science Foundation funding comes, and thank you again very much for helping with that, if that comes, then we will have a year to build with that funding. And then if they like what they're seeing, we build more. And the next place is that hub in Poland. And we'll get that funding from the Polish financiers. And we, maybe it's in Suwalki.
So maybe you could take the founder to Suwalki, yes? And when you see the Suwalki and the Ukrainian people and what our people do for them, really, because every day, that's the moment that I mentioned the station, it's really emotional for us, because every day there are many people, mainly mothers, coming with their children. And a lot of people, just families, take them to their homes. So really, it breaks everybody's heart. Really, it's worth seeing, even if it is very emotionally, but seeing and showing as well, because on TV, they just show the war, yes, and the people, but just these emotional moments, really. So maybe we will see.
So I think it might also be of value to let the television station know that you're doing this and ask them for some clips. They may, and those are clips of the train station. And I think for this project, the way to approach that train station that's very emotional is to ask people afterwards, when they're in a place where they feel safe and comfortable, and ask them, how was it when you first arrived on Polish soil? And in that way, it also is, it's very true. It's a very fresh moment.
Yes.
So that, it's a very important moment. I mean, and then for this, I think it's also valuable to understand here in Los Angeles, it's the film for the knee, shoot from the knees and film from the knees here. So let's remind myself of that. The first thing is, of course, to be present and help and develop trust, and know that let the people know that that the students are good people and they're there to help first. So we're approaching with, we're here to help, and we also, part of our helping is to capture your story, and from a young person's point of view. Okay. I sent you the flyers, right, Marzanna?
Yes,
Okay.
I have it, yes. Even I printed, yes.
Were you able to take a look at design thinking?
Design it.
Here, let me show you here. I just made this yesterday. This is my presentation for this evening.
Uh-huh.
This will give me a chance to warm up with you.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, that's interesting. Only some of them. It doesn't. I see what it does. Okay, that's good. Oh, and then it comes in afterwards. Okay. So, well, maybe you should listen to this. This is the part of my research. And Felix was a young man who, when I was sitting on the international jury at the Berlin Film Festival, he was behind us every day. There was a panel of judges sitting in the same place every day. And Felix and his mother and sometimes his sister were behind us every day. So I developed a little friendship with him and always asking him, what did you think of the film? But he started the conversation with me. And he was 11 years old, an 11-year-old boy is oftentimes shy and reserved. He was very curious and he had a sense of doing that. The film festival atmosphere was something really special and important. And he was curious. So he started talking with me. And I would see him there and every year afterwards that I attended. And then as he was getting older, I didn't see him, but I saw his mother still. And his mother told me, he's a teenager now and he's doing other things. And at Stanford, I made a proposal to find Felix and ask him how international films in childhood had influenced his life so far. And so this is what he said.
How do you think maybe these films influenced your life?
And it gives you a feeling that the way you live isn't the only way possible, and that there are other ways to think about life, and even to make movies. And
could you hear that?
Yes, I could.
Okay. So he's talking about empathy, learning about empathy through learning about the world much earlier on. And children have a great capacity to do that. So my thesis is, if we can engage this kind of empathy exchange early in childhood autobiographical memory, then that becomes part of their story. I am comfortable in the world because I'm interested in people. I'm interested, I'm not afraid of people. So we don't have a xenophobic response to other people in the world. I think it's quite simple. And this is what happens when people have access to travel and putting themselves in situations where they're not comfortable, or they're foreigners, and where they're not in the majority. And this is so valuable. And this can happen in little moments in cinema. In foreign cinema, you feel like you go on a trip, you go someplace for a little while, you get immersed in someone's story. And so my research, and it's actually called the Finding Felix Project, is getting into the psychology behind that. I interview a research psychologist who specializes in memory, in autobiographical memory. And I've been reading a lot about that now. And what I'm hoping to do with Screen 360 TV is actually create a lab where we're following young audiences who have been watching international films in the United States, and seeing how their view of the world changes and what they can do. And these are Felix. He is the child of mathematicians. But they taught the mother. I think she was single at the time, divorced mother. they were
Mhm. I'm
sure.
listening. Yes, yes. I just closed the door because
Oh,
there
okay.
is the wind.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She just to say that they were not wealthy people. She only taught part-time at a university, and she was very intelligent. She told me she didn't like other art forms, but film spoke to her. And so she always brought her children. She brought the children's classroom during the Berlinale, which happens in February, 2 weeks in February. And she would bring the children out of class to go to the films because she felt they were that important. And she's, yeah, so just to say that film is the most accessible art form for people. And it's an opportunity that we should really use and expand, and that's what we're trying to do. So let's see. Just wanted to stop and show you that, and there we are in here. Whoop, there we go. What about? Look at this picture. You recognize it?
Yes, yes, I remember.
This is so great. And so and this
some
is
of
a
my
French
students.
class. This is another high school, and we had a French cinematographer who's a friend of mine. He came. The indicators, which COVID, there are 350 million players on Fortnite. And each one of these, if they're playing internationally, they are playing with someone from another country. You can't tell me that they're not wondering about these other people. I interview, and it's only been mainly boys, but I've had conversations with other people who do think about, or you have a moment's conversation before you go on to the playing field. This empathy is exchanged. You begin to wonder. So let us go forward, and we're geographic literacy we're also looking at. Okay, this is the design thinking process, and this is what I'm employing in Los Angeles and want to encourage you to understand, and that what we'll be doing with the students. This is a design process that starts first with immersing yourself in the I'm going to say the problem space, or in the space to be understood. So your students are doing that already with the Ukrainian families who are coming. But so one way is observation, and you are observing it yourself. You're having your own experiences, and so that is also very important to note. These are the basis of ethnographic research, where you remain objective, but you're also aware of your own feelings too. So in a way, if you were making notes, you'd have 2 columns. One is your observation of what you're seeing, and the other column is what you're feeling at that point. So it's very important to recognize your feelings, and so the students could also make these first person. There could be moments of first person similar to, I'm thinking of the filmmaker's name, Werner Herzog. Do you know this name? Werner Herzog. He's a documentary filmmaker, German, living in Los Angeles now, whose documentaries are very much his own. And he really digs into the story, and he narrates them. So they're first person. And he talks about what he experienced when he engaged with this. So one of my professors said, your eye is the camera. And I think it's always important here, we say in design thinking, it's important to engage all of your senses. So if your eye is the camera, your body is feeling everything. So your body is really the tool. Your eye is the camera, your body is the tool, your ears are the audio tools. And you learn to trust it objectively and divide yourself from your emotions, but you're still feeling them, you recognize them. And so that is the incredible nature of ethnographic research, is being able to immerse and distinguish between your own feelings and what you're seeing. And those are the tools of a filmmaker, really, and of a storyteller, to tell authentic stories. So once they go out and find those stories, and it might be that they're doing that for where we have our 4 classes, right? Let me take from there. Let's see what we decided on. Okay, let's look at our days. So on May 24th, we'll have a student.
May 24th, in my calendar, it is Tuesday, and you mentioned that these are Mondays.
Oh.
So.
Oh, that's right. So that is the first one, is a Tuesday, and that's the one when I'm in Poznan.
So it is 23rd and 24th you are in Poznan, yes?
Yes.
And I think that on 23rd, it will be possible with me. I will ask my students how, because I will meet them tomorrow only. Yes, I haven't discussed the dates with them. And for me, May the 23rd would be okay, because on 24th, I'm going for a short 3-day trip with other students, yes?
Okay.
So for me, it would be better. Monday would be better, yes? So I can do it like this. Even probably in Poznan, you will be quite busy, but maybe just for a short time, just to meet on 23rd, if it is possible.
Let me, I believe I land at 1:30 in the afternoon. Let me see. Bring up my itinerary. Don't have it yet. Hold on. Let me see. So many bars. Yeah.
Too many, probably.
Let's see here. Let's see. Here it is. Okay. I'll show you what I'm looking at. I made this for my crew. So this. Arrive. Okay.
Here you have Poznan.
I do. I have Poznan, but I don't. I believe it's 1:30 in the afternoon. Let me find that specifically. It's just silly that I didn't write that in. Let's see. There it is. Well, that's Poznan, Berlin. Let's go to Berlin, Poznan. Okay. All right, Berlin, Poznan. I am arriving at 12:50. Okay. Good, 12:50. So, and the financial guy is going to meet me. So this would be good that we start with the conversation. So let us say we get settled. It would be something like maybe 1:15, 1:30.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So 23rd of May, yes?
23rd of May.
1:15, 1:30.
You know what? May I give you my phone number? And
Yeah.
have we done that? And I'm not sure if we've done that with WhatsApp yet. Let me see. I'll put it in the chat.
And I will put my as well.
Okay.
I don't know the direction to the States.
It's +1.
+1, yes?
+1. But I also have a German phone number. So let me put them both down. And I have to get used to 2 years now without using it. I was using it every year at least once. And 162.
So here is my I didn't put the direction, but here is my mobile phone.
Okay.
And you can call by WhatsApp as well.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping to. There is mine. Okay. It's +48, isn't it? +48 for Poland?
Yes, probably.
I'll check that. But, okay. All right. Yeah, funny thing is with are you able? Yes, you're able to see that. You can make a screenshot, but you can't cut and paste.
Yes.
Which I think is funny from Zoom. I think it's funny. Okay. Good. Okay, the 23rd. This is really good. All right. You see, Marzanna, sometimes you can't plan for these good things. I mean, what we're doing now is planning, but you can't.
Yes.
One person can't think about it. So that's also part of design thinking is collaboration. And we're calling this, they often say radical collaboration. And this is radical collaboration. Collaborating across borders is radical collaboration.
Radical collaboration.
Yep. Okay, so let's see, May 24th.
So here you gave me two mobile phone numbers.
Yes. The one I should change to my German phone. I think that I will do that. But in the case that the German phone doesn't work or the you can use the American number, and I think it just costs a little bit more for me, and that's okay. So it's always
so the first one is German and the second is American?
No, the reverse. The first one is American with +1.
Yes.
And the second one is German 49. I do believe that's right. And you know, we have to understand the history of the numbering. And I really want to understand that. So how did the United States get +1? I want to understand that. And Germany, you know, did they? I don't know. Because there's a lot of interesting grasp of power there with the number 1. That's a documentary in itself. If one of your students wanted to do that, to understand, you know, and it could be that simple. Think about this. You're not directly talking about how it feels to be here, but what about going from, let's look up what the Ukraine telephone is. Here we go. Ukraine's prefix. Plus dialing code is +380.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that is a very simple, universal thing that people who move to a new country have to get used to.
Yes.
And so we know the situations are horrible, but let us look for this project about going forward and learning what is the value of being an immigrant.
Yes.
So you get a new country code and you're going from +380 to +48. And you're losing a digit.
Yes.
Right? So this is a very ordinary question where we can understand some very extraordinary things about a person. So there are two films I want to tell you about. One is, can you see this one?
Yes,
there's a strong wind in Beijing. Very important film for me, and it inspired me. A young man went to Tiananmen Square before was it before or after? I don't quite remember. I have to look at the year that it was made. But what he did was make simple interviews with people in China before it was so opened up, really, and ask them, is there a strong wind in Beijing? Is it windy? So something like, what is it like? You're going from +380 to +480. Something simple like that. Is there a strong wind? Are you, so a simple question like that helps us gain access to how they are, to these people. They're simply in a very shallow level, which is not to say in a negative way, but just in a way that sometimes other things will surface. But you enter first on a way that is gentle, it's kind, it's a little bit funny, for instance. So I made a film called Egg, and I traveled across the United States, and I didn't have very much time, so I wanted to be able to document this trip in a succinct way. And I knew that I was going to be sitting, having breakfast every morning. So I bring my camera in and ask other people in the restaurant how they like their eggs cooked. So what we get are people talking about something that they love. So they love their eggs cooked. And if they didn't, they don't like my eggs. But we also saw their faces, felt their spirit through how they talked about it, a little bit about their history. One man said, well, I learned to eat eggs with a lot of ketchup in it in the service, because in the service they had powdered eggs and they didn't taste very good. So he put a lot of ketchup, and he still put a lot of ketchup on it. This was not in the war. Another person said that he grew up during the Depression, and there were a lot of children in the family, and there was one egg. And he said his father made sure that every kid got a little bit of egg on their bread, a little bit of the yolk on the bread. So these stories surface like this, right?
Oh,
really
wonderful, really.
Yes, quite
just
wonderful.
A simple egg, but such a story.
I'll show a bit of that story. It's when I was just starting out and I had a camera. I didn't have a very good microphone, but I still captured the images. And one day I'd like to make that film again with better equipment. Yeah, so it's this kind of thing that we're listening for. And I think what the students do as helpers, first they go in and feel what the situation is, help, and then maybe find with the children, when they're on their knees playing and watching things with the children, they find a moment there, maybe where the children have some joy, and they find a toy, for instance, and where did you find this toy? Or tell me about the first time you saw this toy. These kinds of questions are good. What was the first time? So we're looking at, these are often really good entry questions to pull a story out. Yeah, so that I think it's valuable that we have a little workshop. I'll show you egg. I'll show egg, and that we arrive at those questions. We have to make sure that the students feel confident, and that that we feel that their questions are healthy for them and healthy for the other. So we will check on those.
And I have one question.
Yes.
Can you send me, because here when you have your itinerary, this is this nice photo shot from the knees with the pictures.
Yes.
Is it possible just to send me the photo so I can put it on our school's website? Or because I wrote a short note about the workshop for students, yes?
Oh, good.
So it would be a good idea if I, for example, have this photo or some other material about the project, yes?
Sure.
So the workshop.
Sure.
Just some photos so as it can interest them, because I only put a short note on the school's website, yes?
Okay.
But
Okay.
I think when it is connected, when I have some photos, pictures, it will be more interesting for the students. So if you have just a moment and you can send it anyway, so sorry.
Sure. I will, I'll send it with film from the knees, and
Yes.
Do you want to translate it in Polish? Is there a...
No, because every student in our school understands English, so English is okay. Yes, I think
Great.
they understand English.
What
But
about...
it's good practice for them as well, even if they don't know, they should just check the vocabulary and so on. So
Yeah,
I think English version is okay for us.
okay, that's great. Should I'm just looking at some this notion I wrote you about, the American saying to shoot from the hip. Is there a Polish saying that's similar?
Oh, I was trying to think. How is it in Polish? There are some expressions, but like zrobić coś natychmiast, something like do it at once, or maybe I should think about such an expression and talk to my Polish friends as well.
That's a nice idea. Yeah, and maybe the students have also heard it from their family. But it's a way of gaining empathy, is to put yourself not just in the shoes, but at the eye level of someone else. I mean, we often put yourself in the shoes of someone else. Stand behind their eyes or stand at their eye level. Yeah, there we are. Good. Okay. So these are things that are valuable to think about. So what do we have? I was back on those days. Back to our letter. Here it is. And back to the share. You know what I'm going to share is the entire, there we are. So sensitive. Can you see that? It's not too blurry. I can enlarge it a little bit.
Moment, I will.
I'm sharing my whole screen so I don't leave you
Yes.
hanging.
Mhm.
So the whole thing.
So I will, let me have a moment.
I'm just putting down the
Yes,
date. Okay. So we have so May 23rd. Here's our dates with Albert.
Yes, my mobile phone.
Okay. All right. And so then we have the 30th and May 6th, June, and 13.
Yes.
These are the Mondays. So we're saying,
Yes.
okay. Mondays in Poland.
Yes, and I think because I have to discuss the Mondays, yes, with my students, because I'm not sure about them. Yes, for me it's okay, but tomorrow when I meet them, I will just discuss if they are okay the Mondays, because maybe they have other classes. Yes.
Yes.
Because I'm free on Mondays at this time, and I'm not sure about them, so I will definitely discuss.
Let's check those dates, and there could be more. I can imagine there would be more because so what we'll do is both have these sessions, but also emailing. And yeah, I think we should probably also email at the same time of day, because if they're sending me
yes, a lot of
yeah.
But I'm trying to predict the questions of my students, yes,
okay,
about the film, yes, because as far as I know, the students, they will ask me a lot of questions tomorrow.
Good.
So about the films, the first question is, how long should the films be?
Very short.
Very short.
And there's, when you're making a film, there's sometimes a desire just to capture a lot of resist that. I mean, this is why it's valuable to have a plan and immerse oneself and understand. And then I'll show you, we go back to this part. So they immerse themselves first in the story and they let the story talk to them. So we, where did, went away. Hold on, let's go back there.
Yes.
Okay. So the define part, sorry, it just went away and because my keyboard is too sensitive and I have not changed it. Let me see, I can go back here and here. And it's coming up again. There it is. All right. Oh, it's slow, so internet is slow today. That's also something that's going to always be our friend, is the internet. It's going to give trouble. So after they've immersed and gotten to know their families, they will come back with the group and tell the group the stories of the day. So we use 1 or at the most 2 days, and they're without their cameras. They're there helping, and they're gaining trust, and then they come back and tell the story of what they saw. And the students, the other students, listen to them and post-it notes. You're familiar with these?
Yes.
They capture those things that the storyteller
Mhm.
has, it shows he has gained emotion, he's excited about telling them, and they
Mhm.
capture that. For instance, says there was a special toy. He used the word special and a toy. And so that, in a sense, they can interview him and ask him a little bit more about it. But what's important in the ethnographic research is that we allow the storyteller to remember the eye is the camera and your body, and your body is the tool, to let them tell the story, and they capture what they feel is most actionable. And actionable means it generates emotion. So here is where the pathos is. So we have ethos, pathos, and logos. So our ethos is we're going in as helpers, and we are, but also going in to help people understand and how. So that's part of our ethos. Our pathos is that we are feeling. We're using our bodies as temperature, taking a temperature, and seeing and hearing and putting ourselves in that place. But yet we don't have that experience, so that we can come away from it and speak about it. And that's what a journalist has, in a sense. But a filmmaker then will synthesize that and help to define what that is, and help define the story then that they will ultimately take. So with the group, they're helping to define what that one story will be that they'll go back and do. And so here then they take that position with a certain statement. And the statement is, how might we, for instance, with the story with a special toy, how might we show the joy of this new Suwalki resident, right? The new Suwalki resident, this young new Suwalki. How might we show the joy of this toy from this new Suwalki resident? And so then that begins here, the ideation. This is where we brainstorm on how to tell the story. And so with the team, so it's this 5 people there, they become the design film team in a sense. And so they help each other arrive at that place, at the best story, the best way to tell that story. And the ideation is very fast, and we may do it 4 or 5 times. But this is where they will come up with the prototype story. So maybe the prototype story is just a moment with the child and getting this new toy, or talking about the toy that he has. So it should be something that's already in the surrounding, and he wants to understand, we want to understand why it is so special. So we build a story that is watching the child play with that toy, and then we ask him, why is it special? And that could be the film.
I see.
So short, so simple like that, but it's conveying an emotion and some joy. It's conveying safety. It's conveying, the possibility of this child, and yeah, it's going to convey more than we know, actually.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
that's the thing. When you present things on film, the reaction is magnified, and especially the
Mhm.
way that we're showing them, we are streaming them across the world to different cultures,
Mhm.
and in that they really magnified. So
Mhm.
part of this prototype also for the students is to present that work. So they will edit it in a certain
Mhm.
way. So they will need some editing tools if they have iMovie, something like, or there's some other free editing
Mhm.
programs, and we can look at that.
Mhm.
I believe Da Vinci is another one, DAVINCI.
Uh-huh.
They sometimes give a free access.
Uh-huh.
So there, yeah, if they don't have, and they might have iMovie on their iPhones, in fact.
Mhm. Yes.
I have iMovie on my phone, and I can't imagine using it on my phone. But I know if I had to, I would. Yeah, it just takes up space, but I know the students would be able to do it. So the prototype will become a complete film, and the titles, how they introduce it. I think I mentioned the primary story and then the B-roll. So
Mhm.
how they edit the other
Uh-huh.
parts of the story in is also an art form. Editing is quite an art form. How you have one story going in, and that's your script, but then when the editor works with it, it could become a different story. So when you're putting the pieces, sculpting the pieces over time, it could become a different story. So they help each other edit. I think that there should be two primary teams. We'll find out, I think, on the 23rd, we'll find out what skills they have.
Yes.
Okay. Because some of them maybe have already played with editing. Some of them have already played with camera.
Uh-huh.
And they've already written. So these, they'll have to come forward with their skills and their desires.
Yes.
They may not have already tried it, but they really want to edit, for instance.
Yes.
So they get the chance to do it.
Mhm.
So the desire already is experience. You've been
Yes.
thinking about it. You've been thinking about it. Okay. Okay. Good. So, and it's the final part of the prototype is actually they shoot or they film with the family. So they're, the permission is asked in the beginning. We're coming to help, but part of our helping is telling your story. And they have to ask the permission. And they talk about, they already have a date to show film. And I will send you the, or did I already sent you the flyers for Shoot from the Hips? I didn't send, okay, I'll send the flyers. I'm sorry, I didn't. I thought I had. Send the flyers, and then you will also understand why it's important to understand how to make these films. Okay.
And of course, you will send me today's recording, yes, as well.
Yes. And I'll send you. I wonder if I can send you egg if I have it up on YouTube. I'm not sure if I have, but I have 1 minute egg. I have 1 minute egg. I can send you that.
Yes.
It's an example of a very short film. And this is the short version. My film that I made, Cross Country Egg, was I think 27 minutes long, half an hour. And it was really too long for a short film. And really not good enough. But I showed it anyway because I was working at a film festival. So I showed it at a film festival. And but then for the Berlin Film Festival's Talent Campus, I was required to make a 1 minute film. And so I made a 1 minute version of Egg. So it was a 1 minute egg. That's what you call it. And so I'll send 1 minute egg, and I will send you the photo. Okay. Let's see. And it's important to understand that the pictures in the photo, the pictures of the films and the photos, those are films that have already been shown at the Berlinale. And these are examples of films for young audiences. And it will make sense in the flyer that I sent. Yeah, okay. So what are some of the other student questions? So how long?
So I will have more of them tomorrow, yes, but definitely it will be about the time, how long it should be. And so when should they finish the films? Yes, because they also have to organize their time as well.
Yes. So we want them to be finished, I would say on the 19th of June. This is when beginning to be finished. We will show them on the 25th and 26th of June. So that is the ultimate date. So they should begin to be, they should be filmed by the 19th. Because in Los Angeles, they'll be they're from the 17th to the 19th, they're going to be making their film. So it would be good to have them close at the same time.
Yes.
Okay. And then over the week between 19th to the 20th to the 24th, they can put some final touches on it, final editing, add music, find the music they want. Package it, encase it, what they, and they put the titles on. So we'll talk about how that, let's see. And after the 19th. Yeah. Okay. But they should finish in the titles. And then the very, very last, I think, should be, they send them to me on the Thursday, which would be, I'll be showing them on the 25th. So the Thursday would be the 23rd. That's the final deadline.
Yes.
Yeah. So they'll, that's plenty of time to do the editing. And they have to remember that these are prototypes. So these are, they're just packaging them enough so that they get the practice of making something. So they want to strive for clarity, not perfection.
Yes.
Okay. That's good. All right. Okay, I think so. We are email same time of day each day. So I know I'm just email same time of day.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that is good. If they email at 6 o'clock or something like that, I know at their time that I will receive it at 8 a.m. my time. Something
Yes.
like this. Yeah. Or
Mhm.
yeah, something like that.
Uh-huh. Yes, because as I mentioned, they have to organize their time because they have a lot of tests, exams, and so on, and the films are something extra. So I think that the dates, yes, clear the dates which you gave are very important
Okay, good.
For me and for them as well.
So I would follow this same here, let me do this. So this is day one.
Uh-huh.
Day one, I'm going to give an introduction to design thinking, similar to what I just gave you.
Uh-huh.
I wonder, so this takes more time, 3 hour long, and we understand what design thinking is, and we talk about ethnographic research. And I give some examples of films, bad films and good films, and talk about them, and why they are bad, or what went wrong. I talk about what went wrong and what's the right reason for making for telling a story for young audiences, for instance, and what are some important things to remember. For instance, that there always has to be hope in the end.
Yes.
And so I will show clips of my research, which include interviews with 2-3 film festival directors who have been programming films for years. Two who directed the Berlin Film Festival's children's section, and one who directed the Poznan Alekino Film Festival. And
yes,
they're so busy working with theirs, but I will recommend Suwalki to him when they are, I'm not sure how they are making their festival this year, but they're working on it already, and that's why he can't work with us. Yes, so there's this one day, 3 hours, and then Saturday, we spend the full day with the family. So this should be not the first time that they spend the day, but the first time. So I would say that they establish themselves with the family already as the helper. And then maybe this is the second or the third day that they've already, and it sounds to me that they've already been helping. So it's a matter of telling the family that they're already working with, that are asking that family that they would like to work with them on this project, and asking them that. And so if the family says no, then they might want to, well, let's talk about that. If the family says no, then they shouldn't stop helping that family. They can devote some time to another family, or they take on a different role with the team. So I think at least one member from each team needs to have this immersive experience with a family who agrees to do that. Yeah, and if they have, if like I said, if they have experience with the family already, it should be with that family. If they say no, then check with another team member and whoever has that.
Mhm.
And if we still have a problem, then let's meet that problem if it arises. Okay, so that's the Saturday. And it's just spent literally being at the eye level of the
Mhm.
child in the family, and observing and interviewing, why is that your favorite color? And getting insight.
Mhm. Yes, simple. Mhm.
Simple, and allowing the child to tell their story. And
Yes.
and
Mhm.
making notes. They're making,
Yes.
yeah. And they also want to establish the role the young person would like to play in the reproduction of the scene. Maybe they don't want to be in, but they want to be. They want to help direct the camera.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they
Yes.
want to be the camera, and that's great. That's great. But they partner with the filmmaker, and they can partner on all of it if they want. Partner with the right, but
Mhm.
they're partnering with the filmmaker. Okay. So that is one full day of taking in information and allowing the story to begin to show itself. So then we come back in the morning on Sunday here in the US. So it takes 3 hours to tell the story. As I mentioned, each person who has been embedded with the family, they unpack and tell their story. And this is when we put it on the Post-it notes. And then all those Post-it notes are up on the wall, and you start to let the stories talk to you.
Mhm.
Looking at them, standing back, looking at them at the wall, and start to put them together. If there's some that are similar, you put them together. If there's some that really stand out, they stay alone, and they take a place where they have more meaning, for instance.
Mhm.
And so that's just a process then of eliminating which element is most actionable. So which derives the most emotion, which looks the most possible. So this is where the logos comes in, where pathos and logos come together. Which seems most possible to become a short story? What moment becomes most possible? I mean, any moment can be a story. And
Yes.
we learn that from the unpacking as the person spoke about these points, what they saw. And this is it's such a wonderful exercise for students to tell a story richly with rich detail. Okay. And from that, they begin to define that, as I said, they define what the story might start to look like in that problem statement. How might we show this story? And then we start to ideate on the logos. How will we do it? As I said. And we arrive at 3 prototype stories, but then we just have to choose one. Which is the one that meets our ethos, pathos, and logos, that meets our desire of all 3 of them. So then we choose one in the second half of the day, and we return to the family to make that film. to film. Let's say to shoot, to film. I'm going to change that. And so the family is in agreement that you can do it with them, whoever wants to participate. And by that time, part of the prototype, probably 3 is difficult, and then we arrive at 1, and we write 1 script. And we choose 1 to make us. Okay, choose 1. Short script. All right. All right. So that, and then we take the script and return to the family and film. In this case, you might ask other team members to support. 1 person has camera. 1 person might have a microphone or their iPhone used as a microphone, because generally, so often we're filming from back here and not capturing the audio. So they should capture audio as well. So let's do that here too. So let me see here. To audio, and yeah, like that. That's enough. That's enough.
Yes.
And then the 2 will edit like this, or another person, if there's 1 person who's an editor who wants to edit them all. It's a big job, but they can bring them in. So team up to audio and then edit afterwards. Okay. Good. And then, so that's the Sunday, and you get what you can, and then over the week continue to prepare it until the 19th.
Yes.
Let me put that in here. Okay. This is very good. What did I say? 23rd. This is good. Thank you, Yura. This has been really useful to tell you, I think. And yes, we'll continue editing. Yeah. And titles, music titles, sound score, something like titles. Yeah. And deliver on the 23rd. I will send you this. I'll send you this. In fact, I will share it with you right now. There you are.
Yeah.
There we go. Aha, I have shoot from the knees. So I'm gonna. You remember to say film from the knees. maybe I make
Yes.
maybe I make another copy for you. So we just film from the knees.
Yes.
Okay.
No problem. It can be short as well, so I think it's not a problem for me. So
Is it okay? And it's for
Yes.
the. Okay, that's good.
Uh-huh.
So you're in already.
Mhm.
Okay. Good. I think we're there. This is
Yeah.
so on the first day, on the 23rd of May, we won't have that much time.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
But maybe 30 minutes. Maybe 30.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So
So-
yes, I will know the results of talks with my students and with the families and so on. So it can be a very short exchange of information rather than workshop like today. Yes.
Right.
But till the 23rd, I will have some information, some questions, and I will know what is going on. Yes. So maybe
Okay.
even about half an hour will be okay for me.
Okay. That's great. That's great. I'm excited about this.
Uh-huh.
Good. Okay. Well, you have that.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Oh, good. Oh, Marzanna, I'm excited. Are there any more questions?
Not now, yes, because I haven't discussed with students tomorrow if I have questions, so I will just email you. Yes, so when you have time, you can answer them, because I think that I should meet the students and talk to them, and then I will know something more. I will present them the ideas from today's session, yes, and maybe then they will have the questions.
Okay, this is good. I think I'm just thinking of a contact in Slovenia who also wanted to do this, and that'll be the next one. I think that will be useful. And already, I think they said when she wrote me, this was last week, she sent me an article from the local newspaper and said that there are 6,000 refugees in Slovenia already. So they keep coming. Good. Okay. So you're going to meet with students. I'm wondering, do you think it would be, I think it's the students who should ask for the TV clips, maybe.
Yeah.
Good. I think then we wait until the 23rd of May, but I'll also look out for your emails if there's anything else. And I will send you the flyers, 1 minute egg and the photo.
Yes, great.
And you have access to this. You can also take a screenshot of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Good. Okay. What's really nice about this is that I am awake. I still have plenty of morning to do and finish my packing and cleanup. So
yes, exactly. Yes, definitely. Yes, it was really great. Yes, we discussed a lot of things, and I have a lot of ideas now and a lot of information which I'm going to talk over with my students as well. So it will be just, so it's good that we spent quite a long time, yes, discussing.
Yes. No, and it's necessary to I'm happy. 90 minutes is a good meeting. It's a good meeting.
Yes.
Good. So all right then. So I'm going to get busy and send these things to you straight away.
Yes.
And I would recommend seeing if the school has access to maybe getting a free school version of an editing software like DaVinci, or maybe there's
Yes.
something, the school could get access to.
Yes. And note. Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to write Albert right now. It's Albert Schmetkalski. And Schmetterling in German is butterfly. I wonder if his name has anything to, does it have anything to do with butterfly, Schmetkalski?
No, I don't know him yet.
Maybe I'll call him.
Yet.
I'll call him my butterfly.
Yes.
It'll make him want to give us money.
Yes, so you can invite him to Suwalki in my name. Yes, if he has a fast car or an airplane, so you are welcome.
Right. Well, I guess he's part of this new industry that is finding money, and it's government money also. Finding money. He's charged with developing new innovation, and well, that's an oxymoron. Developing innovation, and and it's new, and so it's very interesting working with these people. It's new that it's so large. I think they've always existed, but it's been, they can only reach so many people. But now they're reaching more people, and it's quite a wonderful time we're living in now, Marzanna. Even with the horrible things that are happening, these horrible things are happening because Putin is trying to sway history back because he doesn't maybe know how to go forward. And this is also very important in learning to think like a designer. You're not afraid of the unknown. You go forward together. You trust the people around you to go forward and develop a space in a way that that works for more people, not just one person, not just one way of thinking. So it is more, it's more collaborative, and it is just more in keeping with a naturally evolving society.
Yes.
When you have so the design thinking is a multidisciplinary approach to problem solving.
Yes.
And so you have a lot of people from different points of view who are working together. And our governments are supposed to work like that, but when you have a strong arm in one direction, we understand. And capitalism doesn't work completely either that way. I believe that design thinking it's some socialism, it's some capitalism, it's some communism as well.
Yes,
we get
some elements.
We get a lot from the Pacific Rim and from China and from it's a way of going forward that honors all of these experiences.
Yes.
So I think it'll be useful to and both to school and to the administration to be engaging in design thinking. So if you haven't looked at that link, I think I sent you the link to the Stanford site of design thinking.
No.
Okay. I'll send it.
I haven't got
it. I'll send that one also. Okay. I'm going to sign off now and send you a big email. Okay, Marzanna.
Yes. So thank you very much for the meeting.
Yes, thank you.
Have a good day. Yes.
Yes, wish me luck that there's no traffic in Los Angeles.
Yes. Yes. So no traffic in Los Angeles.
Okay, thank
So have a
you.
good time and a good day.
Okay,
Bye.
have a good
See you.
afternoon. Bye-bye, Marzanna.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.